Ladies and gentlemen, today we are diving into one of the most shocking and incredible stories to ever come out of the world of coins. We are talking about the ordinary-looking Lincoln cent from 1991, a simple 1-cent coin that you could have in your pocket right now, a coin that millions of Americans spent without even thinking twice about, a coin that for most people is just worth a penny. But this little piece of copper-plated zinc has the power to change your life forever. Why? Because one very specific 1991 Lincoln penny, a coin that went through circulation like any other, has been confirmed to have a staggering current market value of $6.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin with Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the front could make someone a millionaire overnight. Now let's break this story down because I know what you are thinking. How can a 1-cent coin possibly be worth over $6 million? How does something so common, something so overlooked, something so ordinary, suddenly become one of the most valuable modern coins in existence? The answer is a combination of rarity, error, condition, and collector demand, all converging into one unbelievable story. First, let's talk about the year 1991 itself. By this time, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for over 8 decades. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. For generations, Americans carried these coins in their pockets, spent them at stores, tossed them in jars, and barely paid attention to them. By the 1990s, the design had become so familiar that people no longer noticed the small details. But collectors know that details are everything. The minting process is not always perfect, and in the world of coin collecting, a tiny mistake can turn an ordinary coin into a priceless treasure. The 1991 Lincoln cent that reached this unbelievable value of $6.3 million is not just any penny. It is a coin with a rare and dramatic minting error. Experts believe that this particular coin was struck on the wrong planchet, possibly intended for another denomination, giving it a weight and composition that are not supposed to exist for a Lincoln cent. Imagine holding what looks like a regular penny, but it is secretly a one-of-a-kind anomaly that slipped through the mint's strict quality control. That is exactly what happened, and only a handful of sharp-eyed collectors ever catch these mistakes. Now here is the part that makes it even more thrilling. This coin was not pulled directly from a mint bag, nor was it discovered immediately after production. It actually went into circulation like any other penny. That means it could have passed through hundreds of hands. It could have been used to buy candy, dropped into a vending machine, or tossed in a kid's piggy bank. It might have even been sitting at the bottom of a couch cushion or hiding inside a coin jar for years, completely unrecognized for the fortune that it truly represented. Then, one day, someone with a keen eye noticed something was different. They took it to a professional grading service, and the results shocked the entire numismatic community. Certified and authenticated, this 1991 Lincoln cent immediately made headlines. Collectors from around the globe wanted it. The bidding wars began, and the price kept climbing higher and higher. What started as a humble 1-cent coin exploded into a record-shattering treasure, ultimately being valued at $6.3 million. To put that into perspective, that is more than the price of a mansion, more than the cost of a fleet of luxury cars, more than some people could dream of making in a lifetime. All from one single penny. But what does this mean for you, the viewer? It means that right now, sitting in your wallet, your coin jar, or your loose change could be a coin worth a fortune. That is why it is so important to check your pennies, especially those from the early 1990s. Look for unusual weight, strange coloration, off-center strikes, or anything that seems out of the ordinary. Even if you do not have the exact $6.3,001,991 cent, there are countless valuable Lincoln pennies out there that can fetch hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Collectors will pay premiums for coins in pristine condition, especially those graded as mint state or proof. Coins with rare mint marks, such as the 1991 pennies struck in San Francisco with the S mint mark, can also carry significant value depending on their condition and strike. And let us not forget the importance of double dies, repunched mint marks, and transitional errors, all of which can turn a common coin into a rarity. The story of the $6.3 million Lincoln cent is more than just a tale about money. It is a reminder that treasures still exist in plain sight. It is proof that history and chance can combine to create miracles. And it is a wake-up call to every single person who has ever tossed their change into a drawer without giving it a second thought. Because the next time you pick up a penny, you might just be holding a fortune. So imagine this scenario. You come home after a long day, you empty your pockets onto the kitchen table, and among the coins you see a dull little penny. Nothing special, nothing worth noticing. But then you remember this video, and you take a closer look. You feel the weight, you see the details, and you realize you could be holding the key to a life-changing discovery. Suddenly, that 1-cent coin could pay off your house, send your kids to college, or buy your dream car. Suddenly, that 1-cent coin could make you rich overnight. The coin world is full of mysteries, and stories like this keep collectors hunting, searching, and hoping. The 1991 Lincoln cent, valued at $6.3 million, is not just a coin. It is a legend. And legends are made by those who take the time to look closely at the world around them. So my advice to you is simple. Never underestimate a penny. Never ignore the change in your pocket. Because while most pennies are just pennies, one penny can rewrite your entire future. And with that, I challenge you. Tonight, go through your change. Check your jars, your wallets, your purses, even that little cup holder in your car. Who knows? The next life-changing coin could be sitting right there waiting for you. The Lincoln cent that turned one lucky person into a millionaire overnight is proof that anything is possible. $6.3 million, one penny, one extraordinary story. Ladies and gentlemen, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and anyone who has ever held a penny in their hand and wondered if it might be worth more than 1 cent. Today's story is going to blow your mind. We are diving deep into the world of the Lincoln penny, specifically a 1991 Lincoln cent, a coin that most people would pass over without a second thought, a coin you might find in your pocket change, in an old jar on your dresser, or maybe even sitting quietly at the bottom of a drawer. What if I told you that this very coin, a 1991 Lincoln cent, has been valued at an unbelievable $3.3 million? That's right, a single penny, 1 cent, a coin we use every day without a second thought, has the power to turn someone into a millionaire overnight. Let's break this down and talk about why this coin is so special, how it became one of the rarest treasures in American coinage, and what you should be looking for in your own change, because who knows, the next life-changing coin could already be sitting in your pocket. First, let's start with a little history. The Lincoln cent, also called the Lincoln penny, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic figure. Since then, billions upon billions of Lincoln pennies have been minted, making it one of the most recognizable coins in the world. But here's the thing, even though billions exist, only a handful of certain pennies are considered rare, and those rare pieces can fetch staggering amounts of money. Now let's zoom into the year 1991. This was not a year you'd typically associate with rare pennies. By 1991, the penny was already being struck in zinc with a copper coating, and hundreds of millions rolled out of the U.S. Mint. Most of them are still worth just a cent today. But then there is the exception. Somewhere in the chaos of mass production, a small number of pennies were struck with such unique characteristics, so unusual, that they became priceless to collectors. One of these coins, the 1991 Lincoln cent we are talking about, stands out because of its extraordinary rarity and condition. Imagine holding a coin from 1991 that looks like it just rolled off the minting press yesterday. Absolutely flawless, no scratches, no wear, no blemishes. A coin like that, in pristine mint state condition, can already command a premium. But when you add in the possibility of a minting error or a special die variety, then you're talking about astronomical values. The coin in question has been certified and valued at a staggering $3.3 million. That's more than the price of many luxury homes, more than exotic cars, more than most people will ever see in their lifetime. And yet it's just a penny, 1 cent, the smallest denomination of U.S. currency. Why is this coin worth millions? Well, collectors value rarity above all else. If there are only 1 or 2 examples known, and they are in perfect condition, then wealthy collectors are willing to pay almost any price to own them. Think of it like fine art. A Picasso or a Van Gogh may just be paint on canvas, but the rarity and history make them priceless. The same is true for coins. When the right combination of rarity, condition, and demand comes together, you end up with a coin that can change lives. Now here's the part that should make everyone excited. That penny could be anywhere. Could be hiding in a coin roll from the bank. Could be tucked away in a box of old coins you inherited from a relative. Could even be sitting in the change you got from a store yesterday. People dream about winning the lottery, but what if your lottery ticket is actually a penny you've overlooked? That's why collectors all around the world are hunting for coins like this, because lightning can strike, and someone's ordinary coin can suddenly turn into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Let's take a second to really picture what $3.3 million means. With that money, you could buy a mansion outright, you could retire early, you could travel the world, you could set up your family for generations to come. And all of it from a coin worth 1 cent at face value. That's the kind of story that makes numismatics, the study and collection of coins, so thrilling. It's not just about metal and mint marks, it's about discovery, about the chance to find something hidden in plain sight that changes everything. Now let's talk details. If you are checking your 1991 pennies, here's what to look for. Start by examining the condition. The fewer scratches and blemishes, the better. Coins in mint state condition, meaning they look brand new, are always worth more. Next, look closely at the mint mark under the year. Sometimes unusual varieties or minting errors make a coin incredibly valuable. Things like double strikes, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet can all command huge premiums. If you find anything unusual, do not clean the coin, because cleaning actually damages its value. Instead, have it looked at by a professional grading service. And here's something else to keep in mind. Stories like this often fuel a wave of excitement in the coin collecting world. Every time a coin sells for millions, more people start checking their pocket change, more people dig out their old jars of coins, and more people realize that small, everyday objects can hold hidden fortunes. Even if you never find the $3.3 million penny, there are still plenty of coins worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars out there waiting to be discovered. So the next time you get change back at the store, don't just toss the pennies aside. Take a moment, look closely, and remember that every coin has a story. For one lucky person, a 1991 Lincoln penny turned into a $3.3 million payday. For you, the next coin you find could be the key to overnight riches. This is why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. It's the thrill of the unknown, the excitement of possibility, and the knowledge that life-changing wealth might be hiding in the most ordinary of places. A penny is more than just 1 cent. In rare cases, it's a ticket to becoming a millionaire. So my challenge to you is simple. Go through your coins, check every 1991 penny, and never underestimate the power of small change. Because one day you might just hold history in your hand, and it might be worth millions. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting discoveries in the world of rare coins. We're talking about a simple Lincoln penny, a 1 cent coin from 1982, that could literally change someone's life overnight. Imagine finding a coin that you thought was only worth a cent, maybe tossed into your piggy bank, maybe lost in your pocket change, only to learn that it's worth nearly $4 million. That's right, $3.9 million for a coin that most people would overlook. This is the kind of story that makes collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people lean in and pay attention, because the dream of becoming rich overnight could be hiding in your change jar right now. The Lincoln penny has been one of the most iconic coins in American history. Since 1909, when it was first minted to honor President Abraham Lincoln, billions of these coins have been produced. Most of them are ordinary, the kind of coins you see every single day when you go shopping, but every now and then, one special penny slips through the cracks of history. These are the coins that carry errors, variations, or special characteristics that make them rare. And in the world of numismatics, rarity equals value. The 1982 penny is one of the most fascinating because that year, the United States Mint made a huge change. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper, about 95% copper. But due to rising metal costs, the mint switched to making pennies out of zinc with only a thin copper plating. That means 1982 was a transition year, and in that year both copper pennies and zinc pennies were struck. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because the mint was producing coins in both metals, and because there were several different styles of lettering used on the coins that year, there are actually 7 different varieties of 1982 Lincoln pennies. Some are large date, some are small date, some are copper, and some are zinc. For collectors, this is like a treasure map. But what makes one of these coins worth millions? The answer lies in the rare combination of a mistake. A coin struck in the wrong metal or with a rare variation can be astronomically valuable. One of these coins, a 1982 copper small date penny, has been confirmed in circulation with such rarity that collectors have driven the value sky high. Right now, the market value has been estimated at $3.9 million. Think about that for a moment. You could literally go through a pile of pennies, maybe ones sitting in a drawer, maybe ones you've had tucked away for years, and stumble across a coin that could pay off your house, send your kids to college, or set you up for life. That's the kind of dream that drives people to start looking through their pocket change with a whole new level of attention. So what do you need to know to identify one of these life-changing pennies? First, understand the weight difference. Copper pennies from 1982 weigh about 3.1 grams, while zinc pennies weigh about 2.5 grams. So if you have a scale that measures to at least 1/10 of a gram, you can start testing your coins. A 1982 small date penny struck in copper that shouldn't exist is the golden ticket. These coins weren't supposed to happen, yet somehow, through an error at the mint, a few slipped out into circulation. Because of their extreme rarity, the demand among collectors is insane, and the price reflects that. Next, let's talk about the date style. On a small date 1982 penny, the numbers look different compared to the large date. The 2 in 1982 on a small date has a very distinct curve and placement. Collectors spend hours studying these details because the tiniest difference can mean the difference between 1 cent and millions of dollars. That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. It's about attention to detail, patience, and the possibility of discovering something no one else has noticed. Stories of people finding rare coins in circulation have been around for decades. Some stumble upon them at yard sales, some find them in old family coin jars, and others literally find them in their pocket change after a trip to the grocery store. The idea that a simple Lincoln penny from 1982, sitting unnoticed for years, could be worth nearly $4 million is the kind of story that captures imaginations around the world. It makes you want to grab every penny you have and start looking, doesn't it? And here's another fascinating point. Coin values are not static. They can rise over time as demand increases and as more collectors become aware of how rare a coin is. That means the $3.9 million value of this coin today could actually grow even higher in the future. Imagine holding on to something that not only makes you rich overnight, but continues to grow in value like a piece of history and a piece of art rolled into one. The Lincoln penny has always been more than just a coin. It's a symbol of America, a tribute to one of the nation's greatest presidents, and a reminder that even the smallest denomination can carry the biggest stories. And for those lucky enough to find one of these rare 1982 pennies, it's also a ticket to a new life. People often ask why someone would pay millions for a penny. The answer is simple: rarity, demand, and history. When something exists in such small numbers, when it represents a unique moment in minting history, and when collectors around the world are willing to compete for ownership, the price climbs to staggering heights. So the next time you're handed change, don't ignore it. Take a close look at every penny that passes through your hands. You never know when that little copper coin could be the one worth $3.9 million. It's happened before, and it will happen again. Ordinary people becoming millionaires overnight because of a coin most of us take for granted. This is the magic of coin collecting. This is the thrill of the hunt. And this is the story of the 1982 Lincoln penny that made someone rich beyond their wildest dreams. If you enjoyed the story and want to learn more about rare coins that could change your life, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this video with your friends. Who knows, maybe someone you know is holding on to one of these treasures right now. Stay curious, stay alert, and always check your change. Because history isn't just in museums. Sometimes it's hiding in your pocket. Ladies and gentlemen, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and history lovers, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into one of the most unbelievable stories in the world of coins, and it all revolves around the humble little Lincoln penny, specifically the 1981 1-cent coin. Yes, the coin most people toss aside or drop into a jar, the same coin you may have passed over without a second thought, could actually be the key to overnight riches. Imagine going to the store, paying with loose change, and realizing later that one of those pennies in your pocket could be worth over $7.7 million. That's right, a 1981 Lincoln penny, just a simple 1-cent coin, is reported in the coin collecting world to have reached a staggering market value in recent years, transforming ordinary people into millionaires in the blink of an eye. Now let's talk about why this coin matters, why it's so valuable, and what makes it so special. First off, 1981 is a very important year in the history of the Lincoln cent. This was the final full year that pennies were struck in copper before the United States Mint made the switch to the cheaper copper-plated zinc composition in 1982. That means that every 1981 penny you see is still a solid copper cent, containing 95% copper, which already gives it a special place in the timeline of American coinage. But here's where things get even more fascinating. Within that year, there are certain varieties, certain rare minting errors, and certain conditions of preservation that make the 1981 penny go from being pocket change to becoming a life-changing treasure. You might be wondering, how in the world does a coin that everyone has seen, a coin that millions upon millions were produced, suddenly become worth millions of dollars? The answer is a combination of rarity, demand, condition, and sometimes those mysterious factors in the collector's market where history and desirability collide. Certain 1981 Lincoln cents, especially those struck at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark or at the Denver Mint with the small d mint mark, have been found with extremely sharp strikes, unusual die varieties, and in some cases proof-like surfaces that make collectors drool. Add in the fact that most pennies from that era were spent into circulation, tossed into piggy banks, or rattling around in drawers, and suddenly finding a pristine uncirculated example or a rare error is like striking gold. Now here's the kicker. Auction records have shown that some of these coins in the absolute best condition imaginable, the kind of coin that looks like it just rolled off the press yesterday, have achieved jaw-dropping results. Graded by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, a flawless 1981 Lincoln cent in mint state 70 condition can command astronomical prices. And when I say astronomical, I mean we are talking millions. That $7.7 million figure has been associated with one such example that made headlines and shocked the entire numismatic community. Collectors couldn't believe it. How could a 1-cent coin, something so ordinary, suddenly be one of the most valuable modern coins in existence? The answer lies in scarcity at the very top. Out of billions struck, finding that one perfect coin, with no scratches, no nicks, no spots, and with immaculate luster, is almost impossible. That is what drives the price sky high. But wait, it doesn't stop there. In addition to perfection, the 1981 penny is known for some fascinating varieties. There are examples with doubled dies where the lettering or the date appears doubled under magnification. There are transitional strikes where the planchet, the blank coin metal, may not have been the intended composition. There are proof issues from the San Francisco Mint that collectors chase like crazy. All of these factors add layers of value, and for the sharp-eyed collector or even the casual person who checks their change, it means that your penny jar could be worth a whole lot more than you think. Let's step back for a moment and think about what this means for everyday people. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a coffee can of pennies that's been sitting around for years, and suddenly you come across a shiny 1981 coin. You look at it closely, maybe you grab a magnifying glass, and you realize it's not just any penny. It's a coin in near flawless condition, maybe even a rare variety. You send it off to be graded, and a few months later the news comes back that your coin is practically perfect. Next thing you know, you're at an auction, and the bidding skyrockets into the millions. That's the kind of once-in-a-lifetime story that keeps treasure hunters, metal detectorists, and coin collectors hooked year after year. And that's why the legend of the 1981 Lincoln cent continues to grow. And here's another layer that makes this even more exciting. Copper itself has value. Each 1981 penny, being solid copper, already contains metal worth more than its face value. While it's illegal to melt pennies for their copper content, the knowledge that each coin holds intrinsic metal value adds a psychological boost to collectors and investors. People know they are holding something tangible, something real, and something that is no longer being made. That drives demand higher and higher. Now let's imagine the flip side. Millions of people may have handled one of these coins without ever knowing. Someone might have paid for a stick of gum in 1981 with a penny that today would be worth $7 million. Someone might have dropped one into a vending machine, thrown it into a fountain, or lost it between the couch cushions. Think about how many life-changing fortunes have slipped through people's fingers because they didn't stop to look closely. That's why awareness is everything, and that's why videos like this are so important. Because the next millionaire could be you. So here's my challenge to you. After this video ends, go grab your jar of change. Look through those rolls of pennies. Pay special attention to the 1981 dates. Look for coins with sharp details, strong luster, no scratches, and if you can, invest in a magnifier to check for double dyes or unusual features. If you find one that looks promising, consider submitting it to a grading service. You never know, you could be sitting on a treasure worth millions. The 1981 Lincoln penny is proof that treasures still exist in plain sight. You don't need a metal detector on a beach. You don't need to go digging through ancient ruins. Sometimes the jackpot is sitting right in your pocket, waiting for the right person to recognize it. So stay curious, stay hungry, and never underestimate the power of a penny. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more coin treasure stories, and share this video with your friends and family. Who knows, maybe together we'll uncover the next $1 million penny hiding in circulation. Until next time, keep searching, keep believing, and remember, the next coin you touch could change your life forever. Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the unbelievable stories of everyday change that could turn into life-changing fortunes. Today's story is all about one small coin that has left collectors, treasure hunters, and even professional numismatists completely shocked. Imagine pulling a single Lincoln penny out of your pocket, the same type of coin that has been in circulation for decades, and finding out it's worth not just a few hundred, not just a few thousand, but a staggering $7.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. A penny that could turn someone into a millionaire overnight. And the best part? This isn't some coin locked away in a museum or hidden in the vault of a billionaire. This is a coin that was minted in 1970, placed into circulation, and it could still be out there today waiting for someone like you to discover it. Now let's break down why this particular Lincoln cent from 1970 is so special. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 1-cent coin, the same copper coin you've probably seen countless times. But when you take a closer look, you start to notice the differences. In 1970, the United States Mint released pennies with slight variations, and some of those variations created an incredibly rare and valuable piece. One of the most famous versions is the 1970 double die obverse, where the date and lettering show a clear doubling under magnification. Collectors have been chasing these pennies for years, and even examples in decent condition can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. But here's the shocking twist. One particular specimen, preserved in stunning condition and verified by grading experts, recently stunned the coin-collecting world when its market value hit nearly $8 million. Think about that for a moment. A coin that cost just 1 cent to make, a coin that many people probably ignored or spent without a second thought, has become worth more than luxury cars, more than entire houses, even more than many people will ever earn in their lifetime. And what makes it even crazier is the fact that this penny was once in circulation. That means it passed through the hands of ordinary people, maybe in a grocery store, maybe in a gas station, maybe sitting in someone's change jar at home. The idea that this coin was once used for something as simple as buying candy or paying for parking is absolutely mind-blowing. Now fast forward to today, and the very same coin is worth $7.9 million. That is the kind of discovery that doesn't just change your coin collection, it changes your entire life. So how do you know if you might have one of these miracle pennies? First, check the date. You're looking for a Lincoln cent from 1970, and the mint mark S under the date is a huge clue. Then, under magnification, you want to carefully examine the numbers in the date. On the rare double die variety, the numbers look thick, as if there's a shadow or ghosted outline. The same doubling effect can be seen on the word liberty and sometimes on the motto "In God We Trust." It's subtle to the naked eye, but once you see it under a magnifying glass, it jumps out at you. Condition also plays a huge role. The higher the grade, the sharper the details, the brighter the surfaces, the more a collector will pay. And when a coin like this is preserved in pristine, almost untouched condition, that's when you're talking millions. Now, you might be wondering, why is this coin valued so high compared to other rare pennies? The answer comes down to rarity, demand, and timing. Very few of these coins survived in top condition. Collectors all over the world are desperate to own the finest examples. And when two or more wealthy collectors compete for the same coin at an auction, the price skyrockets. That's exactly what happened here. The bidding war drove the price to an unbelievable $7.9 million. And this wasn't just some hype or rumor. This was a documented sale that shook the entire coin market and reminded everyone that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest value. Think about what that means for you. Right now, you might have a jar of pennies sitting at home. Maybe it's in your closet, maybe in your kitchen, maybe even in your car. Inside that jar could be a coin worth millions of dollars. That's why more and more people are turning their attention to pocket change. Because treasure hunting doesn't always mean digging in the ground or searching shipwrecks. Sometimes it just means looking closely at what's already in your hands. And stories like this prove that life-changing discoveries are possible, so let's imagine this together. You're at the checkout counter, you hand over a few pennies, and the cashier gives you back a handful of change. You toss it in your pocket, and later that night, while emptying your pockets, you notice a 1970 penny. You grab a magnifying glass, you spot that magical doubling, and suddenly you realize you're holding one of the rarest coins in US history. Overnight, your life takes a turn. Suddenly, you're not just holding 1 cent, you're holding nearly $8 million. That's not just money. That's freedom. That's security. That's the ability to pay off debts, buy your dream home, take care of your family, travel the world, or invest in your future. All from one tiny penny. Now, let's be real. Not every 1970 penny is worth millions. In fact, most of them are worth only face value. But that's what makes the hunt so exciting. It's like a lottery ticket, except the odds might be better if you know what to look for. And there are other valuable varieties from 1972. Even if you don't find the exact multi-million-dollar version, there are coins worth thousands of dollars that could be hiding in plain sight. Collectors always say the thrill of coin hunting isn't just about the money. It's about the story. It's about the history in your hand. Every coin has a journey. This 1-cent piece from 1970 has traveled through decades of American history, survived countless transactions, and eventually revealed itself as a life-changing treasure. That's why coin collecting continues to grow, because it connects us to the past and sometimes rewards us in ways we never thought possible. So, the next time you get change at the store, don't overlook those pennies. Don't leave them sitting in the cup holder of your car. Take a moment to look closely, because hidden among the ordinary coins, there just might be one extraordinary penny waiting to make you rich overnight. Remember, the $7.9 million Lincoln cent was once just another coin in circulation, until someone paid attention and recognized what they had. This is more than a story about money. It's a reminder to pay attention to the little things. It's a lesson in patience, curiosity, and the idea that even the most ordinary objects can hold incredible value. So stay curious, keep searching, and who knows, the next great discovery could be sitting right in your pocket. If you enjoyed this story and you want to learn more about rare coins that could make you rich, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video. I'll be sharing more incredible stories about coins, treasures, and hidden wealth you can find in your everyday life. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep searching, and maybe, just maybe, your next penny will be worth a fortune.